What's up guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you the process of cutting 100 pieces of HTV in 2 colors on the Cameo Pro. Alright, so what we're going to use today is black and white HTV vinyl, and we're going to use the cutting mat. And so I would recommend getting one of these. If you're going to cut 12-inch vinyls, it makes life so much easier. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so now we're going to place it on the cutting mat. And definitely want to peel this piece off first. So if this is your first time using HTV, you always want to lay the glossy side down on the cutting mat. And so we're going to go ahead and place these two on this mat right now. And then I just use my hands to try to smooth out the bubbles, because you don't want that. I don't know if you can see, but there's like arrows pointing this way, and we're gonna load it. And so now we're gonna press load. There we go. Alright, so I pretty much opened up Silhouette Studio. I have the business edition, and I already uploaded the file, what I'm cutting. If you can kind of see, I split it up right there. There's the top one for white and the bottom one for black. And remember, when you're cutting heat transfer vinyl, you always want to mirror it. So on the screen, it's going to look backwards, which is normal. And so our settings are at heat transfer smooth. And so we're pretty much gonna hit send. So it's gonna ask you when you hit send if you want to send it as is or mirrored, but we already mirrored it already, so we're just gonna send it as is. And so here we go. Okay, so meanwhile that's finishing up and it's taking some time. This is actually my second time using the Cameo Pro. If I wasn't a time crunch, I would have fired up my Cameo 3 and just did one-on-one so they could finish at the same time. But for my own personal learning how to use the Cameo Pro and all that stuff and getting used to it, which is why I decided to put both on the same cutting mat, which is awesome too. So my only tip for right now, for any beginners out there using Silhouette Studios, I run the business edition, so it might look a little bit different. Alright, so really quickly, I just wanted to show you, this is the design part of Silhouette Studios. But my tip for you is to always not put your design straight to the edge. Because somehow you would think that the way that you lay your design down here is really how it's going to cut. But that's not, I learned the hard way, and that's not how it works. So you always want to give it some space. So because this is my second time using the Cameo Pro, I haven't fully learned how the mat works. So as of right now, where I have it for the left side and the space is enough, but on the top I kind of screwed that part up. So I'm gonna have to recut probably 1 or 2 of these logos, but that's okay because this is a learning experience, right? So we're in this together. So that would be my tip for you if you are designing. And if anybody knows any tips or tricks, if I am in the wrong, please go ahead and correct me down in the comments. Alright, so what you guys saw was that I left the cutting mat in the machine. I didn't unload it yet. I did the little test of trying to peel it, and clearly it did not peel. So what I've learned about the Cameo Pro is that the settings, according to Silhouette Studios, is not right. At least not right on mine. And that's the learning process, right? And so right now I had to send everything back through for another cut, and I had to adjust the, I'm gonna butcher this word because I have a list, but blade depth. So I'm not really sure why, because even when I was cutting like regular vinyl the other day, the blade depth wasn't deep enough, so I had to readjust that, and I'm hoping that the second time through, this time it's gonna work. This is just the ins and outs, and learning new machines, it takes time and money and materials, but you know what, it is what it is. this is why I'm doing this, so that you guys can see it. I can fuck it up for you, so you don't have to. And because I think a lot of the times, all the videos that I've seen, everybody just has it down to a T, and that ain't fucking real life. So this is real life, you know. I'm sending it through, more time wasted, but it's fine because I'm learning, I'm sharing it so you guys can learn it too, and don't make the same mistakes that I'm doing. But I'll catch you guys in a little bit once it's completely done, and we'll go through the weeding process.
One eternity later.
Alright, so now that it's finally done cutting, we're gonna try again and see how it went. Alright, it looks good. So we're gonna go ahead and hit unload. Alright, so now we're gonna have to go ahead and take off the heat transfer vinyl. So now that we have all these pieces sliced up easily, like I said, definitely invest in one of these if you don't already have one. I got this off of Amazon. And so we're gonna go ahead and go through the weeding process. All right, so earlier when I was filming, I had the blinds up, but personally I like working in the dark. And so when I come to the weeding station, I do have a ring light set up that's facing down. So it actually helps me weed so I can see better. Alright, so if you've never weeded before, I know there are some tips and tricks when you can put it on like your heat press to warm it up a little bit. I've done that once. I did not find that helpful at all. I personally just like this process better. Usually when you buy your Silhouette Cameo, it comes with one of these already, but personally I don't like these. I think it's too thick and not pointy enough. So I have these pick, or I also have this pen that you've seen me use earlier. I bought this off of Amazon as well. So with the light on, I'm able to see my cut lines, and you just peel them back slowly. And for myself, with my design, you always have a box. It just makes things easier, especially when you have so much to do instead of just holding onto a bunch of vinyl. I think for HTV it's fine, but if you're working with like Oracle 651, like actual adhesive vinyl, that's a pain in the ass. So I would recommend always having boxes. And so you just go in and you pick out the little pieces, and this is why I like pointy picks. So if you have a lint roller, I would recommend using that when you're weeding HTV, because you can just literally pick and it'll stick there, so you don't end up with so much little bits and pieces of vinyl all over the house, all over your clothes, because trust me, I've been there. Alright, so there you guys have it. That's pretty much the process of cutting, weeding, and how to deal with heat transfer vinyl. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here because I gotta finish these guys. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything, drop them down in the comments below, and I will either make a video or answer you. And I hope that was helpful. See you guys next time.